They say innocent until proven guilty. But in today's world, public opinion decides first. Some male celebrities lost movie deals, sponsorship, friendships, and even their reputations overnight, just like that. All because of accusations that were later questioned, disproven, or quietly dropped. But while these men face humiliation in front of millions and millions of people, there's other people, millions and millions of people, that are asking one uncomfortable question. What happens to the people who made the accusations when the claims turn out to be false? So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to dive into celebrity cases, media narratives, cancel culture, and a debate over accountability in an age where viral accusations have more weight than anything. Now, I have to warn you all, this conversation may be controversial and it may make some people uncomfortable, but it's one that we need to have. So we all know that the way that everything is set up, that if you are a man in this world, that as soon as a woman say that you did anything or any type of inappropriate behavior, it's automatic, you're going to get crucified, especially if you're a celebrity. And it's got to the point now that people can just say anything and it's like, boom, it's just like that. Now you have to go on a defensive end and have to fight not only for your reputation, but for the things that you built for yourself, because somebody's coming up with these false narratives. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm just saying that all women are like this. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about the ones who really go through these things. I'm talking about the ones who lie and use this as an opportunity to get a bag. Those are the ones that I'm talking about. And male or female, we all know people that's like this. And it's got to the point now that it's just got so ridiculous that people just like, okay, whatever. Because, and the reason why people are saying that, because when the things come out that they say that the person did, and then when you go to court and when they do the court trial, you just sit there and be like, huh? So, number one, excuse me, Stephon Diggs. Now, we all seen what Stephon Diggs just went through. He was found not guilty on the things that he was accused of by this lady who said that she was his chef. But before the trial even started, he was already getting slammed in the media because of his lifestyle. Now, granted, okay, Stephon Diggs, he might be a womanizer. He likes to date different women. You know, he might be a little messy with his relationships, as we've seen in the press. But does that mean that he's an abusive person? No, that doesn't mean that. But so many people went on that and just automatically said that he was guilty. And then when it came out that he was found not guilty, the lady who accused him of all this stuff, what's going to happen to her? Should she be held accountable? Absolutely, 1,000%. %, she should be held accountable. Johnny Depp, we all saw what he went through with Amber Heard. He was already crucified in the media that he was this terrible person. And everybody took her side 1,000%. But during the trial and the results of the trial, we saw what? That just wasn't true. That Amber Heard, she lied on him. And we've seen that ever since the trial, Johnny Depp has kind of like been low key. He's kind of stepped away from Hollywood because of how everything went down. And he didn't appreciate the type of treatment that he got, and he shouldn't. Now, the result with Amber Heard, we've seen that she pretty much got blackballed out the industry. You know, she's not really doing too much of anything. But some people felt like, you know, that shouldn't have been enough. She should have got more. But the question, I would say the question, but let's just say this. You know, Stefan Diggs, Johnny Depp, they had the money, they had the resources to fight these cases. But what about the guys who don't have those resources that Diggs and Depp has? We've seen that a lot of guys are in jail right now being falsely accused of things. Some of them are still there. We even seen what some of them, after years, they went back and looked at the trial and they got released from prison. But it still doesn't take away the fact that I've spent half of my life, I spent big number of years of my life in prison because I was falsely accused of some things that wasn't true. I can't get those years back. So yeah, I agree 1,000% that something needs to be done. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all feel the same way. Because you may have some women who might sit there and say, well, yeah, you know, well, what if it was your mother? What if it was your sister? You know, and I get that. And that's true. But let's turn that around. What if that's your father? What if that's your brother? What if that's your son that's being falsely accused? So we just can't look at things just one way. We got to see the whole board. And this is something that somebody don't, I mean, I wouldn't say somebody, but a lot of people don't want to talk about. And it's to the point that it's just gotten out of hand. So people are just like, really? So what should be done about this? To me, what needs to be done is that these women who falsely accuse these men of these crimes and these things, and when it's found out that it's proven to be false and that they lied, it should be a harsh punishment. It should be a felony and they should spend time in jail. Bottom line. It shouldn't be no, okay, I just falsely accused this person of something, and now when the trial's over, I just get to walk away. That's it. No. Because you have to look at what this person had to go through mentally, physically, financially. Especially when you're getting ready when you go into court for a trial. Going to court for a trial is a very draining process. It's very draining. And that's why you see some people, when it comes to certain trials and things, not when it comes to the trials, some trials, that you see what some people, they just do a settlement because they don't want to go through the headache. Now, some people may say that, okay, a settlement makes you look guilty. Not necessarily. A settlement just means that you don't want to go through the headache. But what I'm seeing now is that a lot of men are not doing the settlement thing anymore. Because that was the thing when the Me Too movie came out and all these people was getting accused of these things. You saw a lot of men going on this apology tour and was paying all this settlement money and everything when their career was ruined. Now guys are like, no, I'm not doing no apology tour. No, I'm not doing none of that. I'm gonna fight this. because I didn't do none of this stuff, and I refuse to let my career, what I busted my ass to build up, go down a drain over a lie. No. So yes, something needs to be done. And I agree, and this is what I'm saying, is that the women that falsely accuse these men of these things, I'm gonna say it again, they need to go to jail. Because I feel that if you start putting their butts in jail for telling these lies, it's gonna change some things around. Because now the ones who thinking about doing that stuff, once they see that, oh, it's a possibility that I might go to jail and do some serious time, yeah, let me step back from that. But once again, let me just say this. This is not me saying that all women are like this. As I said before, I'm talking about the ones who use these things as falsely accusing people of these things as a come up for clout chasing and to get a bag. Those are the ones that I'm talking about. And I don't like to repeat myself, but I'm gonna say that because I know some of you all are probably gonna hit us and say, "Oh, he said this about women. He did it." It's just to the point now is it's just becoming redundant, and you just sitting there just like, okay. But then you have some women who may sit there and say, well, the dating pool has pee in it, or a lot of men don't approach me. A lot of men don't want to date no more. No, a lot of men don't want to date because they see, look at this stuff as a prime example. Looking at all this stuff that's happening, a lot of guys are like, yeah, I'm cool on that. I'm chilling right now. I ain't interested in dating nobody because they don't want to go through the BS. And I don't blame them. You see now a lot of men now are turning around to be focusing on themselves. They focusing on reinventing themselves, improving themselves, and less about dating now. And I'm pretty sure now, with Stephon Diggs, after going through this, hopefully he's gonna put a wake-up call up on him to be like, man, I need to be a little bit more careful now about who I choose to deal with. And like that old saying, be careful about who you let in your house. Because Belle Biv DeVoe, they said it the best. Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison.